Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Poray, a sports chiropractor in Brooklyn, in Ontario, and I've been in practice for over 27 years. And in that time, I've looked after a number of runners, triathletes, and track athletes as well. Today, what I'd like to talk about is how to prevent runners' injuries. Now, over a period of time, I've learned that no matter how good you are, no matter how hard you try to prevent injuries, they will happen. But there are ways you can mitigate these injuries and minimize them. So I'd like to give you my top 10 list for today. The number one thing to remember is to progress at your own rate. Each of us is different. We're at different ages, we're at different weights, different conditioning levels. We have different injury histories, and we have different goals. Give yourself ample time to prepare for whatever goal you've set for yourself, whether it's a marathon or a 5K community walks. Set a goal that's attainable, and then break that down into a timeline that's reasonable. One of the tricks I recommend for beginner runners is to start by running from one telephone pole to another telephone pole, and then walk to the next telephone pole, then run and walk, and so on. And as you progress through your training, you can run 2 telephone poles, 3 telephone poles, but you can never walk more than from one pole to the next telephone pole. Another technique that's used by a number of running clubs is the run walk for time. So you'll run for 5 or 6 minutes and then walk for 1 minute. That's another reasonable way to do it. Number 2 is to listen to your body. Good athletes always know through years of experience when things are not right with their bodies. They back off when something feels different. Their timing is out, the recovery levels are slow, their sleep patterns are off, pain levels are up. Your body is telling you when these things happen that it needs rest. So listen to that. Otherwise, you will wind up with overuse injuries. Number 3 is to check your biomechanics. Years of evolution have created bony connections and muscle actions and sequences which work extremely well. When these are challenged due to faulty techniques, the joints and soft tissues are stressed. When they are incorrectly stressed repeatedly, over and over, injuries result. If you're suffering from injuries repeatedly, have your technique checked by your coach. And that's after your rehab, of course, and before you return to running training. Number 4 is to check your equipment. The technology of today's running shoes is quite remarkable, but not every shoe is appropriate for every runner. When you buy your shoes, get advice from the pros, not from your friends. The right store understands that when you buy shoes that are right for you, you will continue to buy shoes there. The person selling the shoes will look at your size, your running style, your orthotics, anything that's involved in your running, and will select the right shoe for you. Make sure that you change your shoes when they wear down. This may not be 6 months to a year. It may be 6 months to a year. It may be 1,000 kilometers. It may be 1,500 kilometers. But generally, it won't be much more than that. Shoes will break down, even if they're not worn. So don't go by how clean they are or how good they look. You will probably need new shoes within 1,500 kilometers if you're training at any level. Number 5 is strength training should be part of your schedule. Strength is essential to a well-rounded athlete, and therefore one who can avoid injuries and who can recover from them. Strength doesn't mean huge muscles. It means creating a balance and power which can be done through weights, through kettlebells, through swimming, through plyometrics, isometrics, resistance running, as in running with parachutes, with weights, or on hills. Remember that adding weights to a bad running technique will probably speed up your injury occurrence. So there's another good reason to make sure that your technique is good. If your technique is faulty, then don't run with resistance. Number 6 is stretching should be part of your routine. Although there's little proof that stretching actually prevents injuries, there is ample proof that longer muscles can produce more power more efficiently, thereby saving energy for when you need it. Stretching can be done through standard 30 to 40 second static stretches or more fun activities like Tai Chi or yoga. Remember to stretch the balancing muscles. So if you're using mostly quadriceps or you're stretching your quadriceps, you also have to stretch your hamstrings. If you stretch your biceps, you also have to stretch your triceps. Balancing is essential to creating even strength production and good technique. Try icing down. This is number 7. Try icing down after long runs. Long runs create more inflammation, which needs to be dealt with quickly. Allowing inflammation to stay causes chemicals to remain in the muscles and joints, which can lead to early degeneration. An ice bath is great. If you have a big barrel, you can fill it with water and ice and sit in it after a long hard run for about 10 to 15 minutes. This is probably more likely scenario for a run club or a track club. Number 8 is terrain. Remember that terrain can be a killer. Just as bad technique causes injuries, so can bad terrain. Sloped surfaces like the sides of roads will create imbalances in muscles and create joint stresses. Try to run on the crown of country roads. Run on level surfaces like paved pathways. If you run on the high side of the road with the high side of the road on your left side when you go out from your run, then remember to run with the high side on the right when you're coming back. Also remember that asphalt is softer than concrete, so try not to run on concrete sidewalks. It may not seem like a big deal, but believe me, after many, many miles of running, having run on asphalt versus concrete makes a big difference. Number 9 is racing or speed work too often will injure you. Research has shown that too much speed work will cause systemic breakdowns, so make sure you rest properly after you've been racing or doing a lot of speed work. Now, rest does not necessarily mean no exercise or running. It means coming off your training schedule. Try other activities like rollerblading, cycling, slow running, yoga, swimming, and so on. Number 10 is severe pain does not mean that you are supposed to tough it out. Consider changing your diet to include natural anti-inflammatories like antioxidants, which include curcumin, white willow, Caprex, and vitamin supplements to make up for those that are being overused. No, our over-processed food does not contain enough vitamins and minerals for athletes. Number 11 in my top 10 list is to make sure that you see a sports chiropractor. In order to create sufficient power to continue to improve, you need to make certain that joints are able to move through their full range and that the nerves to the muscles are delivering optimal signals. Your sports chiropractor can address not only issues of back pain and shin pain, but they can look at how spinal joints and peripheral joints are moving and do certain things to optimize your training. That's the end of my top 10 list. I'm Dr. Mark Poray. If you'd like more information, you can contact me at the Brooklyn Family Health Center at 905-655-5767, or you can check my website for more video blogs at www.drporay.com. Thanks.